Hi 6A, welcome to Numeracy lesson number 13. This week we're going to look at a multiplication strategy called grid method. This is a method which involves partitioning and using place values to help you create products to add up the totals. Have a watch of the video, give it a try in the questions, and let's see how you get on. This week, as we've said before, we're going to have a look at grid methods. So we're going to start off with an easy example and build our way up. So the example we're going to look at first is 12 times 3. I know some of you can do this in your head, but we're going to go through the steps so you can get the idea of the method. First thing we're going to do is partition the numbers. So we're going to partition 12 into 10 and 2, so into the tens and the units, and then 3 is obviously just 3 units. So then we're going to put that into a grid. Your grid is going to look something like this. So we've got the 3, which is just there because there's no tens in the number 3. And then we've got our 12 and 10 and 2. What we're going to do now is do 10 times 3, 2 times 3 times the numbers in the grid, and then we'll get the answers. So 10 times 3 is 30, 3 times 2 is 6. What this tells me, this is basically showing us partial products in this example. 10 times 3 is 30, 2 times 3 is 6. If we add these together, we will get 12 times 3. So when we come across, 30 to add 6 is the answer 36. Let's try it now with 2-digit multiplication. This time now, instead of 12 times 3, we've got 12 times 13. So I've added a 10 to this number. So our grid's going to look slightly different. So let's come down and look at the grid. We've got our tens and our units from our 12. We've got tens and our units from our 13. What we're going to do is we're going to times the tens and the tens, the tens and the units, the tens and the units, the units and the units, and then we're going to add it all up. Now, this still links back to what we were doing last time. For example, we're going to start off with 10 times 10. Well, I know that's 100. Let's say that I'm not very sure of what 10 times 3 is. Then I can come across to my bar model and I can add 10 3 times, and I can see it's 10, 20, 30. So I can come back over here and add 30 in. Same applies down here. 2 times 10 is 10 add 10, so let's say I know that. Let's say that is 20, because it is. But let's say again, I'm not so good on my 3 times table, so I'm not so sure how to do 3 times 2. So I can add 2 3 times, 2, 4, 6. So I need to come back down here and put in 6. So what I need to do now is add this up. So there's a couple of ways to do this. You could take all of the products out and add them up separately, or we can add them up across the way or down the way. So I can see 30 add 6 is 36, and 100 add 20 is 120. I need to add these two, I'll make that look like a 0, together. 120 add 36 is 156. So that is the answer. Now it's time for you to have a go. So we're going to give you the question of 15 times 14. We're going to go through the steps of grid method. So your first step is partition these numbers into tens and units. So 15 has got 110, so it's 10 add 5. 14, 110, 4 units, 10 and 4. What I want you to do is draw me the grid that you would need to do for 15 times 14. Do that now, and I'll see you once you've done it. Hopefully you should have something like this. It doesn't matter if your 5's here and your 10's there and your 4's there and your 10's there, or whether you've got 15 at the top and 14 down the side. That does not matter, as long as you have got 10 and 4 and 10 and 5. What you need to do now is multiply these together. So I would suggest you do this a row at a time. So if you start at the top row, you're going to do 10 times 10 and then 10 times 4. Then do the bottom row, 5 times 10, 5 times 4. Remember, if you need to, you can always do the bar model strategy at the side to help you with the question. Give that a go now. When you unpause the video, I should see this grid filled in. Again, hopefully you've got something like this. Your numbers might be in slightly different positions if you've put the numbers at the side and the top in slightly different positions. But that's fine, as long as somewhere we've got 100, somewhere we've got 40, somewhere we've got 50, somewhere we've got 20. We should be able to add these up now, because that is the next step. Your job now is to add up the green numbers, or the numbers you have in your grid, and we'll see if we get the same answer. So when we come back, hopefully we'll both have the same answer. Let's check your answers. So as we left, we had 150 to add together, 40 and 20 to add together. So as we come down, I have added these two columns and then these two columns. So I've got 150, add 60, made the total 210. If you got 210, give yourself a tick. Let's go to the next step. We're going to have a look at this example now, because grid method is a good way to multiply really big numbers. So we've got 3-digit numbers here. Now we haven't done any of this, so this is something new, but we're going to use our grid the same way to complete the problem. As you can see, I've got my grid, so I've got 146 at the top and 123 down the side. So we're going to start with this top row. 100 times 100. Now, there must be a quicker way than drawing 100 boxes with 100 in each one. So I'm going to show you a quick way to do this. When multiplying numbers that end in 0, we can use this trick. So what we're going to do is start with the two black underlined numbers, 1 times 1. Now 1 times 1 is 1. To figure out how many zeros follow this, what I need to do is look at the number of zeros in the both numbers we are multiplying. So there's 2 zeros here, 2 zeros here, which means following the 1, there's going to have to be 4 zeros, which means the answer to 100 times 100 is 10,000. Now we're going to do 100 times 40. We can use the same trick because we know when we multiply by 100, everything goes up 2 places. So multiply the first two numbers, 1 times 4, which is 4. 40's already got a 0 in it, so we're going to put 2 more zeros after it because it's going to move up 2 places. So that's going to be 3 zeros in total, which you can see is 4,000. So I'm going to come across and put my 4,000 in. There we are. Last one in this row, 100 times 6 is 600. Okay, middle row now, 20 times 100. So 2 times 1 is 2, add the 3 zeros, 2,000. We can do the same kind of idea here. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 zeros, 800. Then the last one on this row, 20 times 6, which is going to be 2 times 6 is 12, add the 0, 120. Final row, 3 times 100, 300, 3 times 40, so 3 times 4 is 12, we've got 1 0 to add in, 3 times 6 is 18, now that gives us quite a bit to add up. So I'm going to do this a row at a time. I'm going to start over here. So 10,000 add 2,000 is 12,000. Add the 300, 12,000, 300. This row here, this column even, 4,000 add 800 is 4,800. Add 120 is 4,920. And the final column here, 600 add 120 is 720, 720, add the 10, 730, 7, 3, and then the 8 we've got left to add, 738. Now that gives us 3 numbers to add up. Once we've added these up, we should get our final answer. To make this a bit easier for myself, what I've done is put them in columns so I can add starting in the units and then working my way up to the tens of thousands. So units, 0 add 8 is 8. The tens, 0 add 2 is 2, which remember is going to be actually 20. 20 add 30 is 50. We don't put the 0 because it's got no value and it's there. 3 add 9 add 7, so 300 add 900 add 700. Now that is definitely going to make more than 100, it's going to end up in the thousands, so let's double check how many that is. 900 add 300 is 1,200. 1,200 add 700 is 1,000, so the 1 goes in the thousands column, 900 goes in the hundreds. I'm going to just put my comma in to separate my hundreds and thousands. You don't need to do that, but you can if you want. Now we're into the thousands. We've got 2,000 to add 4,000. So that's 6,000. But I've got 1 to add, which I carried on from the last one. So that's 7,000. And then I've got the 10,000 there. 10,000 to add nothing. It's still going to be 10,000. So that gives me the answer. 17,958. There we have it, 6-8. That is grid method for multiplication. Have a go at the questions now, as always. There's amazing, fantastic and brilliant. I would like you to try grid method for the first set of questions. After that, it's recapping lots of different multiplication and division. You use the strategy which works best for you. Hope that's been helpful. Any questions? Let me know.